Well, thank you for having me. Like you heard, I have two children with special needs, and it has been a journey for me. And you heard that in your folders you have a poem called Welcome to Holland. And what I'd like to do is read it and have you all read along with me. It's a poem that was written by a woman named Emily Pearl Kingsley. It was written almost 40 years ago when her son was born severely disabled. He was actually a staff writer on Sesame Street at the time. And this poem is handed to parents when their children are born with special needs. It's handed to folks when they have an accident and become disabled. I would say within 48 hours of any of those occurrences. This was handed to me over 18 years ago, and to this day I keep it in my wallet. And people who are giving this, they do. They keep it with them for life.
The thing is, we have to be mindful of that. That piece I just read, how do you know that's not someone you work with every day? This is an employee here, right? So we need to think about that. Let's try it again. Who knows what'll happen, right? So I went to Italy, and if you look in the top left corner, here we go again. But this time it was completely different. My older daughter was born with an inability to swallow, even her own saliva, got fed through a tube. She has learning disabilities, had a lot of medical issues, orthopedic issues. To look at Rachel, you don't see that there's a disability. You would never know. To look at Gretchen, especially when she's not in cap and gown with makeup, you definitely see a disability. But what's interesting is, what disability do you see? And what happens when you think you don't see disability, but perhaps one is there? Right? When you hear about disability, you tend to hear ADA, right? The legal stuff. Make sure we don't get sued, say the right thing, do the right thing, especially in the workplace. I think that's important. But you know what I think is more important? Social justice. So person-first language is really, really important. Now, the other thing about language is the appropriate terminology disability, or is it special need? Disability specific. Someone uses a wheelchair. First of all, someone who uses a wheelchair is not the same as the next person who uses a wheelchair. We tend to think if someone uses a wheelchair, they have the same ability or disability, and that's not the case at all. So we don't ever, you know the word about assume, we don't ever want to assume, but especially in this case. I'm coming up to you, you don't see me, you're legally blind, and I start talking to you and I say, Greg, how's it going? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay. Does he know who he's talking to? Probably not. But if I see Greg all the time, my opinion is he knows my voice. And maybe if it's really quiet, he would. For someone who has a tic or a gesture, if you're in the middle of a meeting and there's a lot of vocalization and you're running the meeting, what should you do? We do a training where we did at one company where people played roles just for the day, and they were videotapes. So we had cameras set up, and this one woman played the role of being hearing impaired for the day. But you know what? Life is good. It's all good. And, you know, do I really understand why and, you know, all that? Maybe, maybe not. It doesn't matter. What matters is they're happy, they're healthy, they're having good lives, and I'm doing work because of them that hopefully will benefit everyone.